Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. Tough one to break down. Felt like Spurs, in my opinion, were the better team. I don't think Man United were that special. I don't think we were that amazing either. Of course, I think we went with the wrong lineup. There's a lot of upset reactions about that. A lot of people upset with Richarlison. There might be a heavy Richarlison Twitter reacts. Once again, this guy is potentially kind of the villain, maybe after a result for Spurs. So let us know your thoughts on it. Of course, always please smash the like button and yeah, give us your thoughts on the game in general. I will be taking a look at your comments because it is kind of a tough one to break down. It's just one of those where does it feel like a point gained or 2 points dropped? I think that's going to be the title as well for our match reaction. So please check out that. But this might be more of a Richarlison heavy focused one, as well as also a Thomas Frank one when it comes to team selection. Well, let's get this done without further ado. Uh, Jack THFC saying we generated a whole number of XG, 1.01 XG to Man United's 1 or 0.99. I do feel like we were threatening more in the second half than they were. I'm actually surprised theirs was as high as 0.99. Maybe the Delict chance was pretty high up there because it was like a free header at the back post with no one really marking him. And maybe that Sesko chance that Van de Ven made that game-saving tackle could have also been a really good opportunity. But apart from that, I don't feel like, it's just not, they weren't really knocking on the door that often, Man United. It wasn't a
Yeah.
game where you felt like, yeah, they're going to score at any stage now. Whereas like with Chelsea, it felt like they should have gotten 2 or 3 or 4 against us. I wouldn't say that was the case in this game. Wheelsy Dave, Man United's defense of Maguire and Lemon, which you call him, which I thought was very funny. Butterfingers from No Context Tottenham. Now, Dave Vicario, what do you think? Like, should he have saved that?
I think it's harsh considering how close it actually is. I think it's one of them. If he saves it, he's pulled off an absolute worldie. Um, but I take the point. Diving back into your goals, I mean, it's something I criticised them for against Aston Villa. Diving backwards rather than sort of diving across. I think it's harsh. I think we're sort of scapegoating them, to be honest. I think I wonder, is this a Brennan Johnson fan account maybe trying to shift the blame?
Maybe. This one was also one of the tweets of the evening. Pedro Porro crossing game today.
That's what it felt like. It's what it's felt like all season, to be honest.
It's one of the best ones I saw.
Yeah.
Delict cuffing his ears at our fans as if he's not single-handedly responsible for our 2 greatest European nights in modern history. Thought that was actual
That's
absolute
brilliant.
class. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolute
that's
class of a
quality.
tweet.
Well done.
Yeah, I'm glad I found that one. And then Anas Ahmed saying, don't think we deserve to win that over the course of the 90 minutes, but to bottle that after having a man advantage and being 2-1 up in the 90th minute is catastrophic. It's hard to say because, like I brought up, I don't think we were that amazing. I don't think Man United really deserved anything really from the game. So it's just hard for me to sort of figure out whether we were deserving of the win. I think I would have been happy with a point with the manner in which we played, but at the same time, going 2-1 up with only so much time left, it is a real kick in the stones
Yeah,
to not walk away with 3 points.
yeah.
Glory, glory. Bentancur played the shittest ball out before the corner straight to them. Schoolboy stuff costing us. I love Pat Montasar, Dave. I love Bentancur, but I do think they take a lot of responsibility for both goals that we conceded today.
They have to. It's just sloppy. Look, I also think Matisse Tau was guilty of giving away 1 or 2 cheap bits of possession after we went and scored from 2-1 up. Bentancur wasn't the only one, but his was the one that sort of
Yeah, led
led
to
to
it.
the corner at the end of the day. But again, it's mistakes compiled by mistakes. You're going to make mistakes in game. Sarr makes a mistake, but Porro doesn't cover himself in glory and gets caught at the back post once again. He and Brennan Johnson. Bentancur makes a mistake, but again, we don't pick up the runners from the corner kick. It's just the problem is it's mistakes upon mistakes. That's the big problem.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then Odebear, absolute cinema. A lot of people had a lot of praise for Odebear after this performance, which I'm glad to see. Loading saying, I'd argue Richarlison and Brennan Johnson is the worst wing pairing ever to put out by a top 6 club. Definitely up there,
Yeah,
Dave,
he's not far
in
off.
terms of lack of quality, that's for sure. Commentator spot on. Simon gets the ball, and there are just zero options in front of him. You and I mentioned that a few times in the watch along. You and I felt like he had a pretty good game. He was tidy on the ball. But when he received it on a couple of occasions, it was like, can someone please make a run for him? Can someone show for the ball? Like, I think he actually did quite well because there are times when he had to take a lot of extra touches that maybe he didn't need to because there's just so little in front of him at times.
But that's the thing, right? You look at that when your Cam is getting the ball and he's got no options ahead of him. That's because your players are sitting too deep.
Yeah.
You're set up not to lose, so you're getting everybody back behind the ball. Whereas if you were set up to win, when Xavi gets that ball, he's got options ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Black, I'm missing Onana, man.
Quality.
Him and Delict have given us so many glorious moments. Dan, they had 2 shots on target all game, 2 goals. When we're getting absolutely peppered, Vicario can be excellent, but when he's quiet, he starts to look like a bit of a pub team keeper. Now, I love Vicario, but I've often sometimes thought this where when he is having a bit of a quiet game, when he's not really had too much to do, we for some reason seem to concede more goals. But when we're getting absolutely peppered, he somehow comes out with a clean sheet. It's just one of those with Vicario. Maybe he is one of those goalkeepers that does better when he is just being asked a lot of questions of.
Look, yeah, I think he
I
is,
don't know. It's
Jack.
just tinfoil
He's one
hat
of them.
conspiracy theory.
When he's consistently involved, right? He's so focused, he's so sharp, and I take that point. But I think we're scapegoating the wrong people
Yeah.
for this today, to be brutally honest. I don't even
Yeah.
understand how Vicario's even a question about. Look, maybe I need to go and reassess it and look at it because people brought him up in the chat after the game. So maybe there's something that I've missed today. But I don't understand it personally. I understand in other games you could have pulled the guy out. And I understand at the end of the season, it's a fair question to ask. Do we need to bring in a new number 1? But right now,
Not the
I'm
biggest
not
problem.
sure why we're scapegoating him.
No, he's not the
But that
biggest
could change if I'll go back and look at the highlights and see what I've missed.
Dave mentioned these stats in the post-match reaction. For Odegaard, 1 assist, 2 big chances created, 3 key passes as well, 100% pass accuracy, 4 out of 4 duels completed, 45 minutes played. Can't really ask for a much better substitute off the bench, really, Dave. It was a really good day for Odegaard.
Really, really good day for Odegaard. Like we discussed in the post-match reaction, a player that is starting to come of age, a player that is starting to learn to deal with the physicality, starting to add end product to his game. But the biggest problem for me today is, why did he come off the bench? Why didn't he start? He deserved to.
Losing on our own turf, and Bentancur is on the sideline giggling with Ugarte in their bibs while covering their mouths.
Laughing at.
Bro, I just
Did you just see that?
I just missed that. I just missed that still.
What is he laughing at, bro?
Oh, man.
What is he laughing at?
See, this is where I have a problem, right, Jack? And I don't want to go on a big thing here, but that's the sort of shit where fans don't end up supporting you moving forward, where fans have a problem. When the going gets tough, they stop singing and stuff like that because, fans have taken a large blame this season for not creating a great atmosphere. But when you're seeing your player joke with a rival opposition on the pitch after a draw, it shows that they don't care maybe as much. And then
This is when we went 1-0 down.
it.
Yeah, it was like right after we went 1-0 down. He was like kind of like having a laugh with Ugarte because they're both Uruguayan teammates. It's like that sort of shit where you're just like, you guys get to talk. You guys are going to see each other in 2 days on international break. Like, why do you need to be having a laugh and a joke with each other?
Exactly. Like, can you not put that down? Can you not put that aside for 90 minutes? You can laugh in the dressing rooms after the game if you want. But when you're out there in front of the public, it's the perception he gives off.
The other thing maybe that, of course, I've never played at professional level in any regard to any sport, but I have come across in many a different sports, from basketball, baseball, football, everything, where I've played a friend who's on the opposition team. I have not, to my memory, had not had any stage where I'm like having a joke or having a laugh or giving him a smile or something like that. It's almost, if anything, it's the opposite. I'm actually looking to maybe get away with putting a harsher challenge in on him or something like that because it's no real hate or anything between yourselves, but you're not going to give anything up. I just sometimes I play harder against my friends than I do against. That's the thing I just don't really get. That you see often with footballers. Maybe it's just different generations, Dave. Then again, Bentancur is my age, so I don't really understand it.
It's bad when you're saying different generations, Jack.
Yeah, he's my age, so I don't even know if I can give him that excuse. Richarlison whipping off his shirt only for Tottenham to concede a late goal is absolute football heritage. United play 1 game a week with no notable injuries, and they still look a gash. Amram is a very funny gaffer. This is what I was saying a lot, in that I think this was a game where I was going to sort of feel like, all right, like I don't know really what to make of Man United. I don't know really what to make of Spurs. I'd actually say that Spurs slightly look like a slightly better team than Man United, considering they have no injuries and also as well they had a whole week to prepare for this game. But I'm not going to give Spurs too much credit either. This was funny, Dave. Fewest shots in the Premier League this season. That's a great little gif of Ange there. Now, the damning stat is that Wolves have more shots than us, and they're one of the worst teams in the Premier League, if not the worst. Now, this is, I think, a little bit on the manager here, right? In that
Instructions.
he needs to give them more license to go forward and needs to give them more license to take risks and have shots on goal.
Going forward, scoring goals is all about taking risks. What we're seeing is a team that takes very little risks. Everything's safe, everything's strategic. But that's the guy we hired. At the end of the day, we brought in Kudus, Mawani, Xavi Simons, players that want to take risks, and I think they're being stifled to a certain degree by the instructions of the manager.
Maybe we would be just 2 or 3 shots ahead of Wolves if we didn't have so many whiffs, of
Even
shots.
then, I'd still
Just
be
joking.
questioning it.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Maybe we actually wouldn't have appeared on that list as low down. Poseidon, the real story is how lucky Man United were to escape with a point after converting their only 2 shots, but it'll be about Spurs' home form for some reason. I think both are true in this case, Dave. Like, I think Man United were very lucky to escape with a point. At the same time, we do still have to talk about the home form. Like, I think it's kind of both, really.
Yeah, I get
So I'm
it,
saying I
right?
agree with half the point there from Poseidon.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I don't care about Man United. I care about Tottenham. Tottenham's my issue, so our home form is what's going to be my issue.
Yeah.
Not how wish-washy Man United are. I don't care.
Dan saying there's not one person on the planet that thinks Udogie isn't the best option for left back, but genuinely, what do? Play him 90 minutes twice a week for the next 6 months? We've got absolutely nobody else with the left foot who we can play there. Now, I would agree with this in principle, Dave, but in this particular game, in this scenario, especially right before international break, I would disagree. I think this was the game for him to play. But in general, that is a tough situation for a manager where he is the only left footed defender for the fullback position that we have to pick from. He's by far the best one of them, too. So that is tough as a manager. You can't just play him every single game. But in this game, I think he was able to probably play 60, 70 minutes.
Well, he plays Porro every single game, so I mean, I don't know why he can't give a Dougie, a lot more games. Look, for me, I get it, but let's be honest, that Copenhagen game wasn't exactly tiring. It was an easy game on the night,
Yeah.
If it was Chelsea and Newcastle last week, I'd say fair enough. But
Yeah.
Copenhagen and Man United, come on, you can't tell me he can't play the majority of both them games.
Or if anything, he could have reversed it, right? He could have saved Udogie for this game instead of playing him in the Copenhagen game. Did
Well,
you
he set
really
us up
need him
not
for the
to lose.
Copenhagen game?
Yeah, well, he set us up. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's actually a great point, Jack. Did he really need him in the Copenhagen game? But I think he went with Spencer there because he set us up not to lose. He didn't want to take the risk with a Dougie bombing forward, and that's why he brought him off the bench today.
Yeah. It's just the constant over rotation and tinkering when maybe he is getting it wrong. Vicario in games against the top sides.
Starting to feel like that situation all over again. Similar hair, similar beard.
Well, the set pieces too. Like I would say, Lloris never filled me with confidence from set pieces, and I think Vicario too. At times. Don Falcone, Kudus, Bergbaum, Madison, Kulu, Solanke, all are missing for this game. Virtually all 5 could go straight into the first 11. Another season where injuries to key players are just piling up. It's becoming a real sick joke at this club. I think that's true. Hated the first half, loved the second half until that last second. Got not to win that. I think it was a lot better in the second half. To say I loved it, maybe
a bit far.
But yeah, it was a lot better. It was a lot better, to be fair. Same vibes, Dave. Remember the Liverpool game where he took off his shirt? Yeah. You're going to be seeing a lot of that. Mitch Fretton saying you have to be absolutely gutted with not winning in the end there. Uncharacteristically bad defending at the end, but unsurprisingly bad goalkeeping from Vicario as well. Better than losing, I guess. So, like you're saying there, maybe, Dave, Vicario kind of being scapegoated, it feels like, for the loss.
Yeah, but now the fact that so many people are bringing it up, I'm starting to think I've been a bit blinker. I'll need to go back and watch it again. But I'll make sure to let you know my analysis on the next fan show, on that. But again, I think are we scapegoating the wrong people again? Like no one's really questioned Brennan Johnson letting the lit run free. That's where I worry. Why they're just putting the blame on Vicario.
It's actually fair, actually. There are very few Brendan Johnson tweets that I actually have to show, which, once again, maybe he's getting away with it. Luca THFC saying, what's even more sickening about that last goal? They had 10 players on the pitch. You literally could have marked every single player, yet they left them all alone. Fair point from Luca. And the ball goes up to Richarlison.
It's what it feels like half the time. I'm not gonna lie.
Craig Mitch, we could have been second, but we're third above Man United still, and yet our own fans are more upset than yet United fans. Also, they had a whole week to prepare. Why is their bummy manager getting more love? He's been there a year, and they're still below us.
Again, I don't care what's going on at United. I don't compare myself to Man United. I compare us to what I want us to be and where I think we should be. And at the end of the day, that Man United team are there for the taking. Simple as. We dropped 2 points today. Stop making excuses for it.
Lucas saying all these injuries and Kudus. What's the epic point anymore? Found that pretty funny. Isaac saying we could have dominated this had we played the correct left side. Instead, we leave it late, and so do they. Frank has to stop being cute and messing around with the lineup. It's obvious to us fans. It should be obvious to him. I really agree with Isaac. Great tweet. Simon Humane, what a messy game. I can't help but both feeling for Thomas Frank, but also wanting to give him the side eye. His options are limited, but he's also making some odd choices. He probably got away with one today. A loss would have been brutal based on the performance. We probably deserve to lose. I agree with every single point up until saying we deserve to lose. Like, I think a point's probably fair, I think, to be honest, between the two sides. Like, Man United did very, very little themselves. Like, we gave them both goals. So I would just say a point's fair. But I agree with 95% of what Simon has written there. Mr. Black told show more quality in 4 minutes than Johnson and Richarlison have in 83 minutes. Yeah, that's a good point. Poseidon, Richarlison taking his effing shirt off and not being able to make a tactical foul is why we drew LOL. F this. Now, Dave, this was what I was wanting to tell you is that because he did take his shirt off, there was a moment actually where he could have brought down one of the players, and that led to, I think, the pressure that they were putting on in our half. Like, if Richarlison doesn't take off his freaking shirt, he can make a tactical foul, waste some time. We maybe get to the 6th minute.
Yeah, but even still, a yellow card shouldn't be an excuse. Take the second yellow. I don't care.
Yeah, you were useless
Take
anyways.
the second
Yeah, get yourself sent off.
Winning should be the most important thing, not preserving yourself. Again, that was my big worry with Richarlison, to a certain degree, Jack, about being selfish because he's so far out of form and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, winning should mean everything to you. So he's got to take that second yellow.
I just, thought that was a very good spot, actually, from Poseidon. I was thinking about that during the watch-along, but there's just so much going on. I failed to mention it. Billy, Udogie and Odebear have to play on the left. It really is just that simple. Completely agree with Billy.
Can someone tell Frank that, please?
Yeah, hopefully he follows Billy on Twitter. ONTHFC, if that was Kinski, you would all crucify him. I think they are crucifying Vicario by the looks of things, ONTHFC. But it's amazing that people love Kinski. I'm just so surprised by how many people seem to love Kinski. Hunter Godson, that goal is all about game management. 20 seconds before the corner, Vicario unnecessarily hoops the ball away, and then Bentancur just passes it to nobody. Johnson completely loses to Ligt, and we've thrown 3 points away after dragging ourselves back into it. I thought very well summarized there by Hunter. Yeah, a combination of just poor individual game management from a lot of different guys in the team. Craig Mitch, we're playing in the Champions League because we own them lot. When was the last time they even beat us? Thanks for the trophy and Bumo FC. Came from the lane. Cole Mawani trying to play with Johnson and Richarlison on the wings. It's one of those famous clips. Like, look at the beginning stages of it. Look at the first 2 crosses are really funny. Then this one is more funny. I think it was this cross that's like really funny.
Oh my lord! That, honestly, that is a replica of some of the shit we've seen today.
It really is. George, he thought he'd done it again. Has Richarlison ever scored a last-minute winner that has actually turned out to be the last-minute winner? Really, seriously. Every single Tottenham home game in the Premier League, do you feel anything? No.
Starting to feel like that, isn't it?
So you take off Poro, one of our most effective crossers and corner takers, while implanting a tactic that really relies on those exact same things. I don't get it, not going to lie. Again, I see what Simon's trying to say, but I think you also have to recognize, Simon, that Poro was terrible that game. Like, he didn't deserve to still be on the pitch at that point.
I think it's a fair point that he's trying to make, but
maybe not the right
Poro
game.
Was delivering anything of quality. It's not like any of the set pieces we put in were any good either today.
I think it's the right idea in theory, but for this particular game, Poro wasn't doing anything to deserve to stay on the pitch, really. Chat, is this good? Says Jake. No, it's definitely not. Poseidon, soon as they got that effing corner, you just knew it was coming. Dave, did you know it was coming? I kind of thought we were going to see it out, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought we should have seen it out. They were down to 10 men. I didn't. But then again, I suppose, some people are still haunted by Spurs, and probably rightly so off today's evidence.
Yeah, probably. Odebear has arrived, my effing winger. Craig Vicario on his effing heels. What the F is that clown doing between the sticks? A lot of people are out for Vicario. It looked like Johnson was supposed to mark De Ligt from that corner, but he loses him when Lemons runs across him. Important to remember, Johnson was booked in the first half for grappling with De Ligt from a corner too. I'm not sure if he's trying to excuse Johnson there, but good insight. All things Tottenham been so good in recent weeks, becoming an important player for us. Knew he would come good. Glad to see there are some Odebear fans out there. Will Richarlison ever learn that when he does that emotional all about me shirt off gimmick, it always seems to backfire?
Yeah.
Really well said. Every time Richarlison takes his shirt off, something
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
happens.
Keep it on.
Even Tottenham's advertising hoardings are taking the piss out of him. It's classic Tottenham. And then last and not least, the Spurs fandom representation. That's what made the thumbnail. Any final words, Dave? Richarlison, it seems like once again, maybe he's coming out as a villain and not a hero, really.
Yeah, I think my takeaway from today is every time Richarlison takes off his shirt, like the last guy said, Jack, everything bad happens. So from now on, it needs to be concerted by everybody inside the football club to get him to keep his shirt on. But look, in general, is a point the worst thing in the world to walk away with, yesterday, Jack? No, it's not. But does it hurt that we dropped 2 points right at the depth? Yes.
Yeah.
So, look, we move. At the end of the day, we're still going into the festive period in touch and distance of top four. Let's see what we can make of it.
We'll see you next time, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button on the way out. Come on, you Spurs.